Hey guys, today I want to do a chart reading for Kylie Jenner. And I want to start off by saying that she is a Leo, Sun in Leo. So she's very much the type of person that likes to be in the spotlight. She likes attention. She constantly needs people to worship her and clap for everything. Though it's negative, it doesn't matter. Wherever the Leo falls in your chart, you tend to always want the attention regardless. Now for her, she's got the sun in the 8th house. The 8th house is ruled by Scorpio, which could be a very serious person could have a little attitude. And I know Kylie Jenner comes off like a diva sometimes, a little bit of attitude. And the sun is in the 8th house right there in Leo. And speaking of Scorpio, she also has a Scorpio moon. So Scorpio moon is very much a person who likes to be in control, and sometimes Scorpio moon could be very snappy. My cousin is Scorpio moon, and he has his days where he will snap at you unexpectedly. Their reactions have to do with investigating things. If you tell them something like, why, where did you hear this, how did you know, they will go and investigate things to the deepest details, and they will suspect. They're not very trusting. However, Scorpio moon could be very strong in health, and they could definitely be psychic. Now, I notice here that Kylie Jenner has Capricorn Rising. And I would have never guessed, so I was kind of surprised. But she's got Capricorn Rising. And I could see now how it actually fits her, because she's always trying to sell makeup. She's always very ambitious. And Capricorn is that sign that when something's not working out and they're not gaining from something, they tend to change really quickly. And it's funny because she made her lips big, and after she made all that money with the lips being big, maybe she wasn't receiving attention. Maybe her attention went down, and she's like, okay, I got to flip it around. Now I got to remove my fillers in order to gain back that attention, in order to get the money. Capricorn is a very ambitious sign, and everybody has Capricorn in their chart. For her, it's herself. It's the ego. It's the first house. Speaking of ego, she's got 3 planets in the first house. It's a stellium. She's got Jupiter, Uranus, and Neptune, and they're all retrograde in her first house. Now, Kylie Jenner could be a very idealistic person of how she wants to look, and she could surprise us with Uranus there. And she also has Neptune there, which Neptune gives you an illusion. It's like, the dream look you want to have in your body in the first house. And Jupiter could be a little bit egotistical in the first house. And a lot of people keep complaining that Kylie, is kind of a diva. And that's another aspect where it shows that, yes, I could see how she could be a little bit, of a diva. Now, Kylie Jenner has Saturn in the 4th house in Aries. So her home life could have been a little bit difficult. There's something hidden there, a lot of discipline involved. Maybe by the mother, maybe by the sisters. It was just very, very tight. Saturn is retrograde. So it kind of softens Saturn effect, making her able to rebel, and maybe the parents not having too much control over her. Okay, but yes, there was a lot of discipline with Saturn there, but they just weren't able to attain it because she actually slipped through it with Saturn retrograde. I want to go back to the moon. The moon is in her social 11th house of friends, social groups, and social networks. And she's very much comfortable being on TV. She's very much comfortable being on social networks all the time, because the moon symbolizes comfort in your horoscope. Now, here's another placement that says that Kylie needs to be in control, in the fame area. She's got Mars. Okay, she's got Mars in Libra, 27 degrees. She's got it in the midheaven where people perceive her career, and she's very, very driven. Okay, she's very driven in that area to be on the top. Now, Kylie Jenner enjoys traveling because she's got Venus 22 degrees in Virgo, and in her 9th house of travel, of knowledge, of expansion. She also has her North Node there. And she also has Mercury there. So this says that she's a very frequent traveler, and this is a direction in life where she's headed. Okay, this is where she's destined to head, like exploring, traveling, and expanding her horizons. I think this is all true because I always see her in jets, taking pictures inside, the private jets and stuff. So you can really see she wants to display her passion, in flying and luxury. Now, she's got Pluto in the 11th house, in Sagittarius. She very much needs to be in control of social network. Okay. And this whole entire chart just says diva, I don't want to say it, but it does say diva. It says I need to be in control. Okay. They're all very strong indicators, the Leo sun, the Capricorn rising, the Mars in the 10th house being in, needing to be the boss. Her moon placement and all the stelliums that she has in the first house of herself. Now, Kylie Jenner has her moon 12 degrees Scorpio, and she's got the sun 18 degrees in Leo, and they're kind of semi-squaring, okay? And these are both fixed signs. Fixed signs always need to be in control, okay? So the moon is emotions, the sun is individuality, how you perceive yourself. She's got this square going on in her 11th and her 8th house. 8th house has to do with give and take and with sex. 11th house has to do with friends and social groups. So there could be a clash within her sexuality. And I know she's done posts, or I think she's sold products, having to do with sexual matters that her fans were complaining. I read an article on that. And I could see now how and why it's an issue, okay? Because her moon in her 11th house of friends and social networks was clashing with her 8th house of sex, with the sun placement there. So that's something that she's got to watch out for. Now, interestingly enough, Kylie Jenner has Saturn 20 degrees Aries, semi-trining, the sun 18 degrees in Leo. It's a fire sign. And, the Saturn placement is in the 4th house, and the sun is in the 8th house, and it's a trine. It's a water trine in the houses, but it's a fire trine within constellations. Now, I perceive this trine as a training in the household, in the 4th house of household. Saturn there, strict discipline, and it sort of molded the personality in the 8th house with the sun, being sexual, being very out there as a Leo placement in the sun. So that was a very easy way, an easy route for that Saturn to be expressed through the 8th house. Now, her Saturn 20 degrees Aries sextiles or semi-sextiles her 16 degrees Jupiter in her 2nd house. Now, I know I said Jupiter was in the 1st house at the beginning of this video. That's because I'm looking at the chart, and the chart has the Pleiadian system that divides the houses a certain way. But you guys know I like to use it in equal systems. So really, Jupiter does fall in her 2nd house. And although I would say, it's kind of like a blend. I would say it's a blend between the 1st and the 2nd house. But yes, there's a lot of truth of her being very excessive in whatever she does if it falls in her 1st house Pleiadian. But she was born with rich parents and, with a very wealthy family. And Jupiter in the 2nd house signifies that you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. And if you weren't, you were born with comfort, like home comfort, okay? Didn't really have to struggle much when you have Jupiter in the 2nd house. Okay, money could come very easy to you in the 2nd house. So Saturn is sextiling Jupiter, signifying that most of her money, all of her money came inherited from the family. The 4th house Saturn. Now her Neptune 28 degrees Capricorn is squaring her Mars 27 degrees in Libra. And Neptune is in her 1st house and Mars is in her 10th house. So whatever she decides to do or creates in the 1st house actually conflicts with her public life. Like, it's pretty much controversial, okay, when you have these two squaring each other. Now, Kylie's got Jupiter 16 degrees Aquarius, semi-opposing the sun 18 degrees in Leo. So there's a very big battle of authority over, core value beliefs, which Jupiter's in the 2nd house, and also sexuality, okay, because the sun is in Leo and it's in the 8th house of Scorpio. So Kylie does struggle to know what's right and what's wrong. She does really struggle with that. Her concept could be very distorted at times. She could have a lot of personal values having Jupiter there in the 2nd house. But at the same time, she feels like she needs to express herself a lot sexually. Now, another thing I noticed about Kylie's birthday is she was born August 10th, 1997. Now, August 10th, I used to have a friend, same birthday as August 10th, and they tend to be very dictatorial around others, especially friends. Like, they need to be the center of attention. They need to be first in everything, okay? Especially gossip. Like, if someone says something like, well, why didn't you tell me first? I had a friend like that. Because if you reduce 10, if you add 1 plus 0 from the 10, it's 1. Okay, and 1 is ruled by a pole of the sun. The sun is the center of attention. He rules Leo. So more so, she's more into being that center of fire, that center of attention. Now, Kylie Jenner's Saturn transit is very interesting because Saturn is beginning to start going into her first house, exiting her 12th house. And Saturn, the first house, actually makes you build yourself, makes you rebuild yourself, okay? So having her fillers removed from her lips, it's actually an indication of Saturn being its works, there in her first house, entering right there, okay? Jupiter is currently transiting her 11th house of social media, so she may be very popular at the moment, because when Jupiter is in the 11th house, in your 11th house, you're more outgoing, you make more friends, okay, you're more popular by the eye, and you stand out in social groups, your dreams come true and you expand your vision in the future, okay. So I can't help to notice that Jupiter also transit over her moon and made her a mother, okay, in Scorpio. Now Uranus is currently transiting her 5th house of romantic partners and is shaking it up there in Taurus a little bit, making it very shaky, having people come in and out of her life. If she gets in a relationship, where she is at the moment, I believe, she will be able to, get out and get another one really quick. I mean, Uranus in the 5th house gives you a lot of opportunities to meet partners, ideal partners and stuff. And you could meet a bunch of people there, and you could also come up with a lot of creative ideas in the 5th house when Uranus is there. You come up with music if you're a musician. And for her, she's got it in Taurus. She's got most of her 5th house in Taurus, okay, making her a business-oriented person, with her makeup line. So she's very much creative in terms of business, quote-unquote. Now, her Mars retrograde is in her 1st house. And, again, it's kind of stimulating that Saturn that's entering her 1st house. And I think it has to do, again, with her image, okay? Mars in the 1st house gives you a lot of energy, a lot of drive, but he's currently retrograde till August the 27th. So, for now, she may be feeling more self-conscious, also more egotistical with Mars in the 1st house, but with a lot of energy, okay? With a lot of energy. And it's also retrograde, so she's kind of going back to her old ways, okay? Her old ways of looking naturally. Now, I think that she's got to watch out when Venus goes retrograde in October to November in her 11th house of social networks. Why? Because she may not be looking favorable, okay, when Venus goes retrograde there. People might not like her, okay? Odds may be in her favor. Remember, when Venus goes retrograde, all her qualities of beauty, all her virtues of seducing, it kind of goes backwards. So it's going to go backwards in her 11th house, where people perceive her in the social networks and Instagram and Twitter, everywhere. And she's got to really lay low for that period of time, till Venus goes direct at least, and not come up with anything new, throughout Venus retrograde. Mercury will be going to retrograde this month in her 8th house of sexual encounters, lawsuits, and give and take. So there may be some sex tapes, out in the loose, coming out of nowhere when Mercury goes retrograde. She's got to really watch out there in the 8th house. There could also be negative talk in the 8th house. A lot of negative talk, because the 8th house could be very negative. It's the house of loss. So in terms of relationships, there could be talk in the background in the 8th house, okay, about it. Now, the lunar eclipse is going to happen in her 1st house in Aquarius, 4 degrees Aquarius. So it's going to shake up things next to her natal Uranus, 6 degrees in Aquarius. So I could see how this whole image thing is also, being influenced by Uranus. I mean, her first house being influenced a lot, greatly. So her image, she's very much changing her image a lot, okay? And she's probably going to be going back and forth for the next 6 months a lot of things will change with Kylie's image, okay, because there's going to be an ending to her old image, all right, in the first house with the lunar eclipse. She will be having two solar eclipses, one in the 7th house and one in the 8th house. And she's really got to watch out, because a new relationship could come into play or into light about a hidden relationship, okay? And also solar eclipse in the house of loss, in the 8th house where Leo falls in her chart. So there could be, some loss going on with Kylie, okay, throughout these 8 months, at least till January 2019. So this was Kylie Jenner's natal and transit chart for the time to come, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you guys need a reading from me, look at the descriptions below, and I'll be happy to give you a reading. Namaste.